Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic Demore, and I want to thank you all for tuning into the second, possibly third best thing you hear all week. My name is Dominic Demore, and this is the I've Had Better Movies podcast. Let's kick it off. My co-host with me, as always, James Lingos. In a rare feat, I got Jimmy to see 2 movies this weekend, so we're going to give you 2 movie reviews. Is for Hell or High Water, a film starring Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, and I have to give this guy credit because I feel like we never do, and he did a phenomenal job.
Gil Birmingham.
Exactly. Tells a story of 2 brothers growing up in the middle of Texas, oil country and cattle country. And it doesn't give you a whole lot of information early on, but as the movie goes along, you realize that they're robbing banks for a reason. It's to save their land. And each of the brothers have their own motivations, and they're being tracked / attempted to apprehend by 2 Texas Rangers, not Walker, and played by Jeff Bridges and Bill Birmingham.
Gil,
right, that one. Bill's his brother, not as good of an actor. And kind of a little bit of chaos and a little bit of emotion kind of comes through, and it's a movie about relationships, kind of. How would you name some negatives, Jim?
I honestly don't know if I have any.
I do not have a single one. That's why I went negatives first, because I'll get it right out in the open right now. This is my favorite movie of the year.
Agreed, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's by far. Like, I can't tell you a single performance in this movie that I didn't like, from the side characters to the main characters themselves. I thought the relationship between every single character was amazing. Ben Foster and Chris Pine felt like actual brothers, and Gil Birmingham and Jeff Bridges
felt like partners for like 30 years.
Yeah.
They felt like a married couple.
Yeah. In my review that you can find on www.ihbpodcast.com, I make the kind of...
Is it up yet?
Yes, it is up. I make the illusion, like, you have 2 blood brothers and their strong relationship, but arguably the strongest relationship in the movie is the brothers in blue, the 2 Texas Rangers. What did you like so much about this movie?
Definitely the chemistry, like you said, with Bridges and Birmingham and Foster and Pine is an important part, but I honestly enjoyed the minor characters throughout the film. Mm-hmm. The waitress at the cafe that they ate at,
played by Katie Mixon, who probably most famously known for Mike and Molly on CBS.
Yes, her. And then the old man, I think is played by Buck Taylor, who's actually, it says he's the old man in the bank. I thought he was hilarious with the whole gun thing. Mm-hmm. And then there's the bank manager at the end. I thought he was funny. Mm-hmm. And then the other bank manager in the middle of the film, I don't remember his name either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, most people in this movie don't have names. They're just tellers and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the things I like, and I want to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible, because I think this movie's going to be trickling in as the weeks go by. So, and it's so good that I recommend everybody go see it. Like, just take yourself, go with friends, do whatever you got to do, but go see this movie, because A, it deserves to get a good return. B, the more eyes see it, is greater chance of maybe getting an Oscar nod. And C, it's just a hell of a good movie. So I love the fact that the story was so tight. Like, in a world where we get blockbuster after blockbuster where the world's going to explode, or all of the money is going to disappear, or these grandiose schemes, this one, it's so simple. There's like 5 small bank robberies that go for like $5,000 a piece, and they've got a simple goal
it's a really smart plan too.
Mm-hmm, it is.
It's genius.
And it's one of the, like, because you understand what's going on throughout the movie, but at the end you still feel like you have that Ocean's 11 effect, where at the end it gives a small wrap up to where they don't exactly explain how it happened, but like, all right, so now I can't believe they pulled that off. That was so cool.
Yeah.
It's a great heist movie. It's a great cowboy movie. It's a great buddy cop movie.
Yeah, at the end of the film, I mean, you honestly need time to process what you just saw. Mm-hmm. Because it is not long. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it feels that exact amount of time too, which is impressive. It doesn't feel long. It doesn't feel too short. You get enough out of the characters to understand the story, which is the most important part of the film.
Mm-hmm. From an acting standpoint, who do you think did the best job?
It's a tough question.
It is.
Can I say all four main characters?
You've already praised all of the supporting characters. You might as well
know.
praise all of the main actors too.
There's not a thing I don't like. Probably Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I felt like you got the most emotion from him, especially when something bad happens. I'm not gonna say what it is, but then you really feel for him and you can understand how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part about that is, in the beginning, I mean, he's playfully joking with that character,
mm-hmm.
and when he can't do that anymore, you can really see the anger and the emotional distress in him.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Jeff Bridges definitely was the all-star of this cast. Clear, I mean, not only because he's one of the only ones with hardware, but as in Academy Awards, but also just he brought it. I loved every scene he was in. When I first watched it, he definitely stood out. But the more I think about it, the more and more I love Chris Pine's performance. Like his motivations behind it, his delivery, and like every time I think back about it, I think of more things where it's like, yeah, he was totally ready for this to happen if this happened. Or if it doesn't happen this way, he's still prepared for it to come. Things like that. And I'm being super off the cuff and vague because I don't want to give anything away because the movie's so good. But yeah, the writer, Taylor Sheridan, he wrote Sicario, which was one of my favorite movies of last year. So this guy is clearly somebody to be reckoned with. And if he doesn't get an Oscar nod out of this, I refuse to watch the Academy Awards ever again.
I don't know if he will.
I don't think so either. The August release is going to hurt him so much because it just will, and not a lot of people are going to see it. Like, this movie will probably max out at like 20 million if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And that's their entire run kind of stuff.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah. But tell you what, I don't buy a whole lot of movies on DVD or Blu-ray anymore. I also don't buy a whole lot of movies on like stream or anything. I'm not that guy. It's just I see so many that I can generally remember them. But this movie I'm going to buy. It felt like
there was actually a lot of funny points.
Mm-hmm.
Not like laugh out loud, but good solid chuckles that you can really tell that the characters know each other and they've been around each other long enough to get those sort of inside jokes.
Yeah, it was extremely well rounded. Like, it hits you emotionally, it makes you like smile, and the other times it makes you angry. And I have nothing else positive to say because I could gush on this for hours. So I'll give my rating right now. I am dropping an IHB first. It is my first ever 10 out of 10 apples. This movie is amazing. I recommend it to everybody, as I've said multiple times by now. And I need the director to get acknowledged with some sort of award. I need Jeff Bridges to be nominated. I want the writer for sure to win at this point. There's still a lot of more Oscar-worthy movies to come, supposedly. But right now, if I was giving out the IHB awards tomorrow, clean sweep on this one. Maybe not supporting actor, because Goodman will probably still get that for 10 Cloverfield Lane in my personal awards, but
sorry.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
But I agree with you, everything except for John Goodman.
You didn't think he was good?
No, I believe he was good, but I liked everyone better in this one. Yeah, this is honestly going to be a 10 for me too. It is up there with Good Will Hunting, and I'm completely okay with saying that. Mm-hmm. Normally, I'd kind of hurt myself by doing that, but I'm fine with the 10. The characters are the biggest part of the film for me. They were so interesting and intriguing throughout the entire thing, and it kind of left me wanting a little bit more from them, mm-hmm. which is the perfect way the movie should end.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that was our review of Hell or High Water. If you saw it at the theaters, and if you haven't, like I said again, I recommend you go see it. Let us know what you thought in the comment section below. Hit us up on Twitter at IHB Podcast. Drop us a note on our Facebook page. That's the I've Had Better Podcast Facebook page. Or you can hit us up on email via
Gmail
of the IHB Podcast variety. Piece that one together for you guys. And now we have the box office report in a very special format this week. It's not really anything special. It's just that I won again, so it's special to me. It's like I'm
Next up, we have the box office
I'm Lance
battle.
Armstrong
Competition
before
bragging
I
rights
got
between
busted
friends
for
who want
doping.
nothing more than to prove they know more than the other guy, and who buys the first round of drinks. I'm apparently broke now. How the game works is each week, my co-host and I will predict the top 5 films of the box office, and whoever gets the closest to the correct order wins the point for the week. Dom won last week for the 4th straight week.
Yes,
I have not had a good month of August.
No, you
and
have
last week
not.
in July, apparently. So why don't you tell everyone how you won?
The results for last week are as follows. Taking over the top spot was the horror thriller I keep saying Don't Even Breathe. This movie should have been called Don't Even Breathe.
Just because you won it doesn't mean it's the way it works.
That's usually how it works, that I don't get what I want.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Fitting then.
It was. Don't Breathe earned an impressive $26.1 million against less than $10 million budget. Very impressive. Falling to second place was Suicide Squad, earning $12.1 million, only dropping off 41.9% from previous week, and bringing their worldwide total to $636 million. The third spot goes to Kubo and the Two Strings, falling off only 37.3% from its debut, earning an additional $7.9 million. In fourth was Sausage Party, raking in an additional $7.7 million, and is well on its way to a $100 million plus global box office. Rounding out the top 5 was Mechanic Resurrection, earning $7.5 million. James, any thoughts on this weekend's box office?
Not a lot of money involved in this week.
No, but it is up almost 50% from last year at this time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just because of Don't Breathe?
I mean, Don't Breathe had a good week. $12 million in the second spot in your fourth week's nothing really shake your nose at. It's just the fact that it's Suicide Squad.
Just spent too
But
much
I mean,
money.
last year I couldn't tell you what came out the final week of last year, and we're not going to,
I have
despite
no
the fact
clue.
we have the internet, because clearly it wasn't that good. Yeah, but I think overall, like the top 12 or something, like whatever their ratings, whatever number they go to, dropped just shy of 100 million. So not great, but you can't have every week going high and above and beyond.
Yeah.
Unless you're a horror movie, and then you will make all the dollars, because it feels
Because they're cheap.
they are. And I mean, I think for the most part, people know what they're getting when they go into them. Like it's kind of like the Mechanic Resurrection. Granted, it didn't do a whole lot of money, but they don't make that movie expecting people to be like, "Oh, this is going to be a cinematic masterpiece." It's a B-level action movie. I mean, the first one only made like $62 million globally, but it gets a sequel because
Is it B? It might be C.
it's B. The
I
first Mechanic was very good. I like that movie a lot. Ben Foster is in that as well, who we talked about earlier in our review of Hell or High Water.
Yep.
I like that movie.
I mean, I'd argue that like Fast and Furious movies at this point are B-level action movies.
Yeah, but you can't have a B-level action movie that's got a budget of over $100 million.
It's just because they're popular.
B in quality, possibly, but they steer into the skid. Yeah, for
And they also know what they are.
B-level standards, you have to be like 50 million and below. Look
It's
it up.
open to interpretation.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary. I'm right.
Yeah.
But those movies, Mechanic Resurrection, while 7.5 doesn't sound like a very good number, if that movie gets to it, if it makes its money back at the box office, and it reportedly cost about $40 million to make globally, they make a ton of money on VOD and DVD sales, because that's a classic $5 bin pickup. They sell a ton of them just because they're cheap. It's a moneymaker. It's not going to be like Civil War moneymaker where a studio can be like, that's all we got to do this year.
Yeah.
But still, solid stuff.
I don't really share the same enthusiasm with Mechanic Resurrection as you do.
Well, you're a bit of a film snob, James.
I am
You
a film
are.
snob. That's a good thing.
One of us has to be.
That's true. How about Ben-Hur?
Yeah, ooh, definitely going to be the biggest. Like, in a year that we see Ghostbusters lose $70 million, Ben-Hur is going to be the biggest hurt of the year, easily.
Yeah, I mean, 19 million total gross right now.
domestically. What's it at? 41
Worldwide?
globally. Yeah, on a $100 million budget, and they had to pump at least another 50 to 60 in minimum for marketing. If this movie makes it to 70 million, I would be astonished.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to drop off another 50%
Yeah, and for the record, Ben-Hur came in 10th place.
in week 2.
Yeah.
So how about our picks?
Let's do them.
I will go first.
Oh, you will go first this time?
Yeah.
Gotta change it up. Change up the routine.
We go every other.
I think I've done the last two. I did not do the last two. I did the last one. You did the one before that.
Every other. And you wanted to go first last time.
I did because I wanted to make the joke.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a difficult week.
It is.
Not much is coming out.
We say that a lot, but this is like
there's
tooth and nail stuff.
There's one movie that is releasing in more than 1,500 theaters. Mm-hmm. And that is Morgan.
Yeah.
Which is not a huge blockbuster movie.
No, and I would argue has gotten less marketing than something like Don't Breathe did. Like Don't Breathe, like you turn on TV, you'll probably see a trailer for it or whatever. You'll see it on YouTube.
This had almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's got some decent actors in it, but it had almost no one.
Decent actors who never make any money, for the record.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, like Kate Mara has been in a lot of busts. Transcendence, Fantastic Four.
Shooter made money.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
And, all right. Well, my number one is honestly going to be Don't Breathe again.
Solid pick.
Number 2, At Morgan.
Another solid pick.
3, Suicide Squad.
Miraculously, another solid pick.
4, Kubo and the Two Strings.
Wow. 4 in a row. You might actually win this week.
And 5, Sausage Party.
Oh, and you lost it. No, I have no idea. Any reasoning behind your picks?
I think the mechanic is going to lose a lot of money the next week.
Well, it can't lose a lot of money. It didn't make a lot of money in the first place.
It's going to lose even more money. How's that?
They're going to go negative. They're going to have to give all that $7.5 million back.
Yes. It's going to drop 65%.
65.
65.
Ben-Hur didn't even drop 65, and people say that sucks.
65. Going out on a limb here.
Okay, do your thing.
And I think Sausage Party is going to make more than Mechanic because it is going in more theaters.
The theaters going up, or it's just in more theaters?
Theaters are going up.
Really? Huh. Did not know that. Interesting. Screw it, I'll keep them on my list anyway. I also have Don't Breathe number 1, Morgan number 2, Suicide Squad number 3, and Kubo number 4. However, I am sticking with the bald but not quite embracing it Englishman Jason Statham at number 5. I think Mechanic Resurrection has that B-level action movie quality to where people like, nothing else. Like, I don't feel like going to see Morgan or something scary. I've already seen Suicide Squad. Let's check out Mechanic Resurrection. At worst, you'll see Tommy Lee Jones in another action movie.
That's true.
Yeah, so, and realistically, Sausage Party did, 2.2 million more than Mechanic Resurrection. So that means, and that's all 50% drop from last week. So if it sees a 55% drop, we're talking less than $4 million easily. Probably closer to 3.5-ish. And I think Mechanic Resurrection can do that just from people being like, screw it. Like, for the record, I don't have a whole lot to see next week. I don't really want to see Morgan. I'm probably going to see Mechanic Resurrection and Kubo. Just because I don't care if you guys read my reviews on those. I want to see those movies. So it's going to be an interesting week. Coming down to that 5th spot. Most likely both of us will be wrong. Like Hands of Stone or Hell or High Water will jump up to the 5th spot miraculously.
I hope so. That'd be great.
It would. And, I mean, Hell or High Water did 3.7 this week in only 900 theaters, roughly. So you get that thing up to 1,400 or so.
Yeah, it's going in almost 500 more theaters.
Yeah.
If possible.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll keep my fingers crossed. You never know. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please like us right down there with a little thumbs up. Also, share this episode with your friends. Subscribe to the I've Had Better Podcast Network on YouTube. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast, and on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better Podcast page.
You can follow me on Twitter at _Kaiser_Soze, or on Facebook as Jimmy Langos. And don't forget to check out the website, www.ihbpodcast.com. And please subscribe and listen to our iTunes feed. And you can find that by searching IHB Movies, IHB Podcast, and I've Had Better Podcast.
I am Dominic Demore, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dom Demore. That's DOMDEMORE. Or on Facebook as Dominic Demore. James, how's your show today?
Yeah, I've had better.
Good night, everybody.